My name is Christian Fowler. I've really come to terms with a lot of shit that has happened in my life. Something a friend of mine said after he got sent to my babysitter's boss police office, and I mean boss, like she literally runs the 7th precinct. Like, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be in therapy right now. I wouldn't be even thinking that she was still there in the Lower East Side. My mother lied, said she left and never came back. Those are obvious lies. My mother knew what my brother did to me, and she doesn't care. Leanna was the only woman that ever loved me. And I think there's more going on than a simple babysitting gig or a family title. And the reason why I say this, and I have to compute my thoughts properly, so when she does watch this, is I gave my YouTube channel, Golden Gun 121, to a security guard who has really helped me revitalize my memory. Leanna, the little guy you know, because Moesha told me that when I had the conversation with her just now about Shango, that you already knew. You weren't the only one. My older cousin Jessie, she knew I was talking to someone or something. I was possessed. Most people can't remember their own exorcisms, especially if they're doing it themselves. That final battle with Shango, it rocked this building. And this was after the earthquake at Con Edison. And there were Facebook posts about it on Mazda Towers, and it was after. There was no earthquake that day. I looked. For the fact that my babysitter, my best friend, somebody I used to tell everything to, has pictures of me on her desk. That really says a lot about how a woman really feels about you, and I'm very flattered by that. And even her officers were really surprised because when I told them to picture me but much younger looking from the 90s on that desk, it amazed them. So, Leanna, and I'm only in the intake part of the therapy, and I'm already thinking about everything that I did that really hurt you, which I didn't mean to. Everybody knows the story of Maverick around here, the vigilante, when I lost everything. What happened to me in the staircase, which I don't want to say, after Josh yanked me out of that apartment. It's what created Maverick in the first place. You knew already I was possessed by Shango. There was one thing about him, which is why I used to cry when Mamo went to work. I always got sad because I didn't know if he was going to come back or not. Shango showed me his death, and there was to torture me with it. The entity with the 2 axes, I found them. Now I understand why you were teaching me the religious values that you were teaching me. It was to help control him. And then when that very first concussion happened, I understand why you were so strict towards me. And have been. I remember one time, I don't exactly remember what led up to the moment, but I went, I wish you would. And I was used to just doing my own thing. I wasn't used to rules and regulations like that. I'm very sorry for all the horrible things I've done to bad people. That wasn't the way to deal with the problems in New York. When I had my hair long, when I was trying to stay at least somewhat sane, I know how very thorough you are. I'm still only in the intake part of the therapy. We haven't flipped to the calendar to actually get into it yet. The intake specialist doesn't see a narcissist, doesn't see a schizophrenic. Why is it schizophrenia for a Christian that you are teaching me to be? You taught me the religious values. You made sure I had what I needed when I was over there. You handled the discipline when I acted up. You took care of me. There were reasons why I didn't cross their path. I mean, one of our songs were the Backstreet Boys, I Want It That Way. Just like I'm in therapy, I want you to go too. It could teach not just you how to talk about your feelings towards me. Because when Manny told me that you had a picture of me on your desk when I was a little boy, that speaks a lot about how a woman feels about a man. When I had met Anthony Rios, things were sort of fine at first, and then when he started screaming about how you were socializing me, how you were teaching me to dance, things of that nature, the body remembers. When I was in ninth grade in 56, I didn't realize that you were watching everything I did. I'm very sorry about causing you pain. When Anthony Rios started screaming at me in Edge House, I was close to blackout. Violation to his face was not going to be the word I used to describe him. After I was done, Ed had to put me in another room and give me a half ounce of weed so I could calm the fuck down. And then Ed threw Anthony out. And then afterwards, I think Ed told you that's when you broke up with him. And Ed has told me about the Christian button. If you ever gave me a chance in that way, you know it would be just like old times, you know? You wouldn't have to worry about me rejecting you. You wouldn't have to worry about me being violent ever again. You wouldn't have to worry about me patrolling the neighborhood as the vigilante known as Maverick. You wouldn't. You wouldn't have to worry about me being hurt. From the fact that the guards are telling me you patrol my building, it's getting more and more. I appreciate that. I'm very sorry for hurting you and your mom, but you especially. I have major attachment issues because of all the crap that I've done. When I was in high school, I had a relationship with my teacher, Miss McDonald. We didn't even do anything. I was going to do something very bad to a bad student who kept being overtly aggressive towards another girl, and she was telling me, and it was putting me in that mode that you would have to pop me out of. Well, let's just say when I got stopped, Miss McDonald smacked me hard. Now that Shango's gone, I'm starting to remember everything. I really feel like a jackass. I really do. And you know, no matter what, I would always listen to you anyway. I've never been able to have a girlfriend. I don't know what that feels like. Because I'm not a street thug and I'm not a jackass in any way, shape, or form. This is why girls don't give guys like me a chance. Nice guys finish last, right? First of all, how is it exciting to get your ass beat and have your boundaries stepped on all day, every day by a piece of shit who don't care about you? But when you say you want a good man who takes care of you, and it doesn't matter who the girl is. And I'm not trying to say anything bad about you. This is just something I've noticed as time went on. A lot of girls today think a guy like me is only good to fill their pockets. Expect them to let them go to clubs, get drunk, go on OnlyFans. It's hard to find a woman that's not like that. It's getting more and more difficult. You were the only girl that ever loved me. The only girl that I ever had feelings for. Real deep feelings. I know I was your baby. And I didn't get a chance to tell you I loved you. But that's what all this fighting was about. And Shango making me do bad things even in your house. And I'm going to post a link in the description about who and what Shango is, because I found them. I'm only in the intake part of the therapy. Therapy is much different when it's not a part of a mega clinic that only wants to bank off of your suffering. There was a reason why I associated with Vegeta when I used to tell you, and I used to point to Kid Vegeta when we were watching in Spanish. Me, and I would point to Frieza with Shango. Shango did everything he could to make sure I didn't have a home. Everything. His cultic following is big. It's a global phenomenon. The cult of Shango. It's a West African cult, and it originated in Ethiopia. It's one of the original states in Africa that started it. I have Ethiopian roots. I'm wondering if there's a possible connection. I look at things when it comes to demonology, parapsychology, and the world of paranormal through the mind of a psychologist. So, I can understand when a person's fearful of someone or something. I can see it on their face. The things I've seen on my paranormal investigations, most people wouldn't even understand. I used to see Junior's death. The car accident that took my brother's life. He was the only man that I was ever able to talk to. I used to call him Memo because I couldn't pronounce his Spanish name because of the speech impediment that I had. I had to work hard just to get to this point. I regret all of the fighting that I did in 56, 134, Mary Help of Christians. That was all Shango talking. I didn't know what I was doing. And you can tell this is truly legitimate because of the fluency in my voice. You helped me when I was over there with my homework. And you knew how much I hated doing any kind of rule-related thing. But you enforced it. When my memory started returning after I hit my head in Bellevue, when I span around and I hit the ground, I was on the other side. I got to see the gates of heaven. It's very real. Anyone can get in. It's not attached to one religion or the other. You just have to be a good person. Because all of these religions talk about the same thing. Our Creator. 3 people stopped me. I was upset about that because I wanted to leave. I feel alone. Never being able to get a girlfriend so I could smile again. You should look at the picture of that little boy you have on your desk. The young version of me. And you should start talking about your feelings. Not just towards Malaysia, but towards the people in the precinct, how you truly feel about me. You think I haven't noticed the way you were towards me. There was definitely something more going on there. That's just how it came off as. Please talk about that with people you know and me that know me. Please. I feel alone as it is. Very alone. I know I fucked up. Badly fucked up. When I looked up, do you need to be in therapy to have any kind of criminal charges that you place against somebody? That's not recommended. I figured out that was, you telling me to get checked for all of this and everything that I've confessed to. And it was a lot. But I want you to set the example too. It was really weird when somebody cared about me. I always thought there was some weird motive. Being forced to lay on a box spring here in 2J. Well, being over at your house and Jesse's house is where I felt the safest. And I know as the youngest in your house, I wasn't supposed to worry about anything, but I knew there were problems between Diana and Joe. I didn't understand why there was a family feud, but I had a feeling that I was the one in the middle of it. I didn't know why. My mother lied and said you no longer lived in New York. Like, you didn't even work here type shit. I don't believe that anymore. That's all lies. One thing that's just confusing me, I'm not dwelling on it, just confused by it. When I did all that stuff on the Facebook 7th Precinct page with the name Romican Whalers with the picture, the fact that there was a match in the system with that name associated with me. And this is nothing delusional about this time around. It's just confused. I want to know the truth about that too. I never had a girlfriend in my life. Nobody wants to give me a chance. Everyone goes away in the end, right? I don't want to lose you from all of this. Just now, when I saw somebody wanting to punish us, so I started to blank out. So I walked the other way. You can't even ask that to Malaysia. How is it bad that somebody like me gets brother zoned or friend zoned by women, and then these same women want a bitch that they want to find better men, but then when it comes to somebody like me, it's the friend zone and brother zone. It's ass backwards thinking. I've never seen women break up with whole men over me. You should talk about that. It's like I said, I got the first taste of that with Anthony. I knew Anthony, Mikey, Jordan, and those retards. Same thing with Joel. I didn't like any of them. I remember, and like, I'm very sorry that I hurt you. I didn't mean to cause you pain. Everything you're hearing is surely legitimate, and this is only the start to my therapy treatments. I've come to acknowledge how much I truly love you. You're the only girl that ever made me smile. I'm not happy with anyone else. I hope you can learn to forgive me. Leanna and Willis, I hope you can learn to forgive. I know how you can be. If you gave me a chance in that way, you would never have to worry about me touching sensitive subjects. You would never have to worry about me being violent or anything like that. Just to let you know, the only reason why I smoke weed is for pain purposes. It's pain management. I'm not trying to get high off of it. You have my word on that. For the most point, it's just one joint a day. And that's all I need. Unless it's a holiday or something like that. And even then, that stopped too. I mean, I want you to think about when these guys cross those paths that they shouldn't. A boundary is a boundary. That's something I learned from you. Again, I'm very sorry. You're the only one that's ever noticed me. I don't get that with girls. I'm a very loyal person. Very. I don't want to lose you altogether. I hope you could forgive me.